All right, everybody, we're going to get started here in just a minute. Streaming live to YouTube for the first time in any of our webinars, any of our presentations. Going to give this a go. Good things happen when we go live. We usually get started at 2 p.m. Eastern, so we're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. All right, well, it's 2 p.m. Eastern, which means that we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said before, we typically do these webinars on Zoom, but today we are broadcasting out to YouTube to see who's searching for this kind of thing on YouTube. So, you know what happens when we go live? Basically, anything can happen, and we do have some. Um, you do have some means over here, so we're monitoring the YouTube chat. Feel free to say hi over there. We're monitoring the Zoom chat. We see some attendees are starting to pile in right now. So we're going to go ahead and get started because chances are we're not going to finish up this presentation within 30 minutes. For those that are new that are watching this on YouTube or anything like that, we usually do these type of webinars or presentations that are typically 30 minutes in length. The content could get pretty heavy, so we tend to go a little bit longer. For this particular presentation, I think that we can keep it somewhere within the 30-minute time frame. We're not going to get too deep technical, but this is a very hot topic right now. So again, thanks for joining. My name is Dan Orkin with Envision Blockchain, and today we're going to be talking about how Dynamics 365 supports adaptive operations. This is a really popular topic right now, as we've heard that there's issues with supply chain, because of all sorts of constraints that are happening, pandemics, growing economies, supply and demand. These are all buzzwords that are affecting businesses, large and small. So we need solutions these days that are going to help us attack these situations. So, without further ado, again, thanks for joining, and let's get into it. Just a quick word about Envision Blockchain, who we are, and what the Envision experience is really all about. So the Envision experience is really all about the systems that we use, the solutions that we leverage in order to make those solutions happen, and then obviously education through different types of workshopping. So you could see some of the system integration there on the left-hand side as it deals with Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, which is going to be the focus of the topic today. Also is Microsoft Dynamics Finance, the Microsoft Dynamics supply chain management modules. And then, most know us for the custom application development that we've been doing within the blockchain space. And you could see all the different solutions that we leverage right there in the middle, from private and public blockchain networks, line of business application integrations, migration to cloud and cross platform, so on and so forth, especially with IoT devices. These are the solutions that's needed in order to support business growth and the technology strategy in order to support this. Workshopping is always a big part, whether you're in the middle of a project gathering requirements, or whether you're just at the early phases of different, understanding and education. These are all services that we offer, and that's what we're calling the Envision experience. So getting into, what we're going to be talking about today more specifically, right? So we're going to be talking about Microsoft Dynamics 365, the ecosystem in general, right? And whether you're in, the finance side of your business, whether you're in the supply chain side, the operation side of the business, there are concerns and considerations that need to be made when you're choosing what solution and for what purpose. So we're going to be talking about some of the main pillars that the solution, Microsoft Dynamics 365, specifically Business Central, what are those pillars and what does it help businesses overcome, especially as it pertains to being adaptive, being able to change and be nimble and to forecast and to understand what's happening with the business so that you can adapt, just as the name describes. And more specifically, so we'll be talking about adaptive business operations, and we'll be talking about technology modernization. So let's dive into some of the content here. So, how do you want to transform your business with Dynamics 365? And when we think about what Dynamics 365 is all about, for those that don't know what it is, let's just start at the very beginning. Microsoft Dynamics 365 is really a solution suite. It's really composed of different line of business applications across marketing, across services, across sales and operations and finance and HR and talent. And these products that we're talking about, these line of business applications, they're all infused with data and intelligence because there's data that are being touched by your employees and input into the system at every different, step of the way. So you take all of these line of business applications we're talking about, and you mix them together with Microsoft Power BI and with Flow and with Power Apps. And for those that are familiar with those powerful toolings, that's what you have. And, together, when you combine everything, it really composes this modified, unified, intelligence and adaptive product that businesses can leverage. And they really work great independently, right? So for those that are familiar with Dynamics 365, you can use the sales side without getting the operation side. You can use, whatever side without, sorry about that. We just had a technical glitch. I think we're back online. So again, you can use all these independently, but when you put everything together, it's really a system that works together perfectly. And when you start to have these systems that are working together, that are providing you that data that you need, you're able to improve your decision-making ability. You're able to build on your customer relationships. You're able to make the most of your operations. And this really gives you kind of the all-up view as to what kind of value proposition you should be looking at a solution in general. So this brings us to this connected AI business cloud experience, right? A lot of talk has been around artificial intelligence. A lot of talk has been around data modernization. So, this screen right here, it really provides a nice visual overview of some of the business applications and some of the technical offerings that, you could see by leveraging a solution like D365. So, for example, what Envision is able to offer our customers is, with a solution like this, a digital feedback loop that helps connect data across all different business units and gain clarity to really the interdependencies between the people that run your business on a day-to-day basis. This is very important, especially us working from home, working remotely, working globally, right? There needs to be a way to connect everything, and because of this, we're able to lower the gap on operational deficiencies and really close the gap with the customer, so we get a little closer to them. And essentially this breaks down the organization's data silos. You can imagine you have systems that are all over the place, so you got to break down those walls and make data accessible to whoever needs it, whenever they need it, however they need it. When you add intelligence on top of that at every step, it really improves the business processes and outcomes. These type of real-time intelligence and automations, that's what allows you to be able to prepare for different scenarios that we're talking about for being adaptive. You got to be able to adjust the approach and the progress for different situations that happen. So, when we take a look at the infrastructure of the Dynamics 365 solution, we can't just look at just the Microsoft Dynamics platform itself, because it's part of a bigger family of suite of products. What we're really talking about is the Microsoft Dynamics 365 solution. It leverages different components within the Microsoft ecosystem. So we're talking about Microsoft Power Platform and D365 that we're talking about. It is actually supported and built on top of Microsoft Azure, which really supports the control of the Azure data and allows, especially, specifically Envision, to modify applications. It allows us to give our customers not just the solution as is, but build applications on top of that to further enhance it. And also the Microsoft Office 365 suite offers users different productivity tools that sits on top of the SaaS layer of infrastructure that's similar to that of D365. But D365 itself offers these line of business applications that we're talking about, like commerce and service and marketing, sales and talent and finance, supply chain and operations for sure. And these applications, they're really infused with data intelligence, as we'll get to over the next couple slides. So at every step of the way, because of this infrastructure that we mentioned above between D365 and Power Platform and Azure and Office 365, again, it allows the Envision experience to happen, because we can build customizations that extend these line of business applications even further than what you see right here on the screen. And it's because of that that we can leverage even more capabilities, like the Common Data Service, CDS, or also known now as Dataverse. It really supports how your apps connect to the Power Platform, which gives you the ability to build now custom user interfaces and different mobile experiences, and different applications that even sit on top of the existing applications. The ability to adapt from a technology perspective, because it's built on these type of services, is really up to your imagination, but more specifically your business needs. So, getting a little bit more specific into how can we look at supporting an adaptive business operation. Um, so let's take half a step back over here. What's important to understand is that there are signs left and right, red flags that are happening, that you should start to think about if there is a need for a new ERP implementation. We see this all the time, whether we're building a custom application, whether we are implementing a D365 solution. Start at the very basics. So for example, there are systems that are disconnected, that are, that your team is inputting information, and they're siloed. And this is the most common problem that's facing small businesses. Many of our customers will describe scenarios of having to be able to copy and paste or rekey information multiple times and accessing different systems in order to gain, in order to complete a given process or task. This is cumbersome. It could lead to errors. Reporting is complicated and provides insufficient information. So out of the box reports can often be extremely basic. So then, you're going to have to buy extra systems like Tableau is very popular, ClickView, even Microsoft Power BI. It's an additional license. So, not only that, but you're also going to have to then either hire in-house or hire, another company to be able to configure these existing systems and actually develop these sort of reports. So all these options are really expensive, they're not scalable, and it's a time-consuming effort. So ultimately it could also lead that your business is growing and it's too expensive to upgrade, and you need to maintain and scale legacy systems. And for some, this is normal. This is part of your growth of your business, which at that rate, it just makes the current software insufficient. Specifically, there could be lacks of integrations with payroll systems and inventory systems. And, there could be other users that have been using the same system for over 10, 20, 30 years, which also makes it difficult from a user adoption perspective. And it's becoming, more outdated and no longer supported. And the maintenance of these systems is just, it's just becoming a little bit more cumbersome. And you can see on the screen right here that, some of the stats from the Nucleus research, identifies some top reasons why SMBs adopt new business management solutions. So, 54% have disconnected systems, 50% have reporting limitations, and 50% have outdated and legacy systems. So kind of looking ahead, just to kind of funnel down, I guess, into these, 5 different key areas. This is how you'll know if you're outgrowing your systems. You just take a second, take a look at the screen and identify any of these. Do they resonate together with you? Do you see that you have siloed systems? Do you see you have duplicate data? Is this a manual process that you're looking to eliminate? Is there insufficient reporting? Are there security issues? Right? So, these are normal. This is a good problem to have if you're growing. And essentially that's just what it is, right? So, if you're at that part where you're outgrowing your accounting system or your supply chain system, you have to kind of be real with that. It might be time to upgrade. So it's not just that easy, though, just to go ahead and upgrade, because it's a changing landscape. It's not easy. There's a lot of modern techniques out there that are really impacting whether or not you're going to make sense doing this, whether it's easy, whether it's going to improve sales, whether it's going to improve marketing, whether it's going to improve your operations. There's different technologies out there that are, kind of piecemeal, or some that are brought into one system. So for example, some of the key points are leveraging machine learning is a really, really emerging technology. It's been around for a long time, but now it's becoming a little bit more commercialized. It's been through the ringer, so to say. So, you should be looking at leveraging machine learning when possible to be able to understand your customer payment cycles and patterns, for example. You, excuse me, you should be able to integrate some of the financial platforms and financial planning solutions and analysis and monthly close and all those capabilities into your core financial management suite. You should also be looking at this, the ability to forecast new demand for financial management apps that are being deployed to cloud services, because security is always a concern. But again, it's a good practice to just understand the current trends of technology. And, from there, we're able to now put that to real world situations and solutions to address these common, pain points. So, kind of all in right here is that Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is this single comprehensive solution that meets the needs of growing businesses. And we've seen this time and time and time again, where the Business Central solution, it connects, the people and the processes, as we like to say, with a single unified solution, so that all the data that's being keyed in could easily and quickly be shared among all the key people that need to see information throughout the company. And you have access at this point to the most current, accurate data so that you can make the most informed decisions possible. And that's important. And if you can think about a scenario, for example, the second that a sales rep is in the field and makes a change to a customer quote, you need that to be reflected in the numbers. If you happen to be pulling up a report, a forecast report, for example, back at the office. And it's these kind of scenarios that if you have more accurate information at your fingertips, then decisions become easier and you can make a bigger impact on the bottom line. And functions like payroll and banking and CRM systems, they are just as integrated so people can share the most current data and respond to customer requests faster. And that's where you can really start to understand different scenarios and where data needs to be accessible, entities need to be accessible. You need to have it where you are at all the times, right? So when you take a look at it from finance management and project management and operations management and supply chain management and sales and service management, they all provide all the reporting and analytics that's needed in order to run the business on a day-to-day, and it has to be nimble. So that's really the crux of it right there, where the core capabilities within the Business Central solution, it's from financial management, sales and service management, project management, supply chain management, operations management, reporting and analytics. These are some of the core capabilities that you're seeing from accounts receivable, banks reconciliation, fixed asset management, monthly year-end close, right? I'm not going to read all of them on here, but really from day one, these are all of the modules that come out of the box with this Business Central solution. You have everything that you need really from just buying the SKU and implementing it, right? And that's one of the things when you're comparing the solution to some of the other solutions out there. It's often perceived that, well, there's a low cost of ownership, or it's too easy to use. What's the catch? And that's just that, right? Because it has a deep and rich history of, it's not just new. It's been part of a broader suite of products that Microsoft has been brewing over the decades, and has taken it from on-prem solutions and now made it a cloud first type of solution. So, this has been really tailored for the needs of small to medium businesses. So, now we can dive in. We're going to focus more on the business operations side. We're not going to get into the technical, the technology modernization aspect of it. We'll save that for another presentation, as I'm just trying to be mindful of the time. But, thinking out loud, we have over here a focused approach to adaptive business operations. So, this is the way that you can start to think about, how are we actually going to, make our business adaptive? And, this is what's needed within the operations of our system, right? We need to take advantage of predictive analytics for intelligent recommendations. We need to be able to transform finance with automated, integrated global financial processes. We need to unify the data and connected processes, apps, and systems, and adapt the business requirements and gain actionable insights in real time. And this is what's important and what's needed in order to streamline financial and operational processes. So, we can now think of this adapted business operations as one of the key pillars, right? There was two. There was adaptive business operations, and there was also technology modernization. But now there's two sub pillars of this adaptive business process. So there needs to be a way to optimize your team's productivity with seamless integrated processes and tasks. And you must centralize or distribute financial management with embedded reporting and predictive analytics. So let's dive into each one of them and see how that's achieved. So, it's important to think here, and we're going to dive into each one of these three, icons you see there in the bottom. But, the key point to take away here is that when you optimize your team's productivity with seamless integrated processes and tasks with a single source of intelligence, role-based workspaces and integrated with Office 365 apps, you're starting to give the people that run the business the tools that they need to run the business. You're empowering everybody with what they need. So diving into the first one is, running your business anywhere at any time, any device at any time, right? So because this is deployed in the cloud, it can also be on-prem, and it can also have a hybrid approach, which is definitely feasible. It allows for the requirements for data um, uh, resiliency and compliance and security. However, it still gives you the flexibility to have a mobile enabled user experience, which means that users have the same powerful intuitive experience across deployments and devices. So whether you're using a desktop, laptop, a tablet, mobile applications, it's you're able to achieve what you need to do without having to worry about which device that you're using or where you're using it. Role-based workspaces is an interesting concept because there are, in small to medium businesses, you probably are wearing many different hats. So because of this, you have to have different role-based activities. You have different tasks that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So because of role-based workspaces, you have these widgets that you can set up so you can easily click into what you need to get to. It gives you a fast user action and decisions with role-based workspaces. Allows you to gain global visibility into financial health of your business and optimize workforce productivity. And these role-based workspaces really provide a high-level view of all the key business metrics, and they make it possible for you to drill down into the different transactions and key performance indicators or KPIs that's most relevant to your business operation. And ultimately, it just makes it easier to monitor and accelerate business performance because you're just looking at what you need to look at, and you're not seeing things that just aren't important to you. Last but not least over here, when we're talking about embedded with Microsoft 365, you have this Microsoft 365 suite of products like Outlook that most companies are already using. So you shorten the time, for example, right? Let's say that you wanted to create a quote. You shorten the time from quote to cash. When you set up customers or vendors, you create quotes and process orders and submit invoices without even leaving Outlook at all. You send your invoices as PDF attachments. You can even include PayPal links that's integrated together with Business Central, and you can expedite payments that way. And the Microsoft Office integration capabilities really empowers the teams to be more productive and seamless and access the Microsoft Office apps while still being connected to the Dynamics 365 suite of products. Kind of taking it one step deeper for those that are using Excel on a daily basis, there's the ability to create a productive environment and then again, get work done in Excel while connecting your data services using the Excel data connector. You can use the workbook designer page, which is a tab over there, and you can design these editable custom export workbooks that contain an entity that's important to you. What you can also do is, again, leveraging Microsoft Azure, is that you can save the attachments to the Microsoft Azure Blob Storage or SharePoint Online through your document management support that's enabled out of the box over there with Dynamics 365. So the second subpillar that we'll talk about is the centralized or distribute financial management with embedded reporting and financial analytics. And this is where things get interesting. Because at this point, this is where now you're taking your data and you're running it through this machine learning that we were talking about, and it's giving you now help. It's giving you intelligence, which is built in to help you take, your data to action, like it said right here. And Microsoft has invested a lot of time and a lot of money into decision automation and support through these turnkey capabilities. So, for example, artificial intelligence comes into play when you see something that's called recommendation. So for example, what should I do? This is part of the decision support that's built into the Dynamics 365 Business Central module. You also have predictions, for example, what will happen, and that could be used for cash flow and inventory forecasting. You have interactive dashboards, which help you understand why did this happen, and that's part of the Power BI reporting. And then you also have reporting for what happened, like a manual process, and that's where the dashboards and the reports really come into play. So, part of the machine learning and AI, just kind of diving into the recommendation section that we mentioned of the couple AI components before, is that now there's an extension that uses Azure Artificial Intelligence to predict future sales, for example, based on your sales history, and it'll help you avoid inventory shortages. So for example, you can choose an item on the items page, as you can see right there in the screen. And there will be a chart in the item forecast pane, which shows the estimated sales of that item in the coming period. This way you can see if you're likely to run out of stock of the item soon. It allows collaboration across the organization and supply chain to make better and faster decisions. There's also something there called the image analyzer extension. It uses powerful image analytics provided by the computer vision API for Microsoft Cognitive Services to detect attributes in the images that you import for items and contact persons so that you can easily review and assign them. So for example, for items, attributes could be whether the item is a table or a car, or whether it's red or blue. And for contact persons, it could be like attributes like gender or age, and these kind of recommendations save time and reduces the data error. Now I'm just running through some of the screenshots. Didn't populate. I wasn't clicking through. Would have been good to show you these screenshots as it's coming through. So over here we have, for example, the prediction aspect. And this is where you can create your own predictive web services based on public model named forecast model for Microsoft Business Central. This predictive model is available online in the Azure AI Gallery. Effectively, it allows you to manage the receivables. That's really important to the overall financial and health of a business. There is a late payment prediction extension, which can help you reduce outstanding receivables and fine tune your collection strategy by predicting whether sales invoices will be paid on time. So for example, if a payment is predicted to be late, you might just want to adjust the terms of the payment or the payment method for the customer. As we get to the next section, this is probably nothing new for anybody, but just to cover it, when we talk about interactive dashboards, here we're talking about the ability to derive insights from transactional and observational data, and then get those data insights into the hands of every employee to support decision making. And you create a data culture. Now you're making decisions based on data, based on facts, not just opinions. And you create composites of reports from various other Power BI content together. You can string it all together with actuals and budget balances from the general ledger. BI really helps businesses make solid decisions. And also, when you're talking about dashboards and reports, is not as comprehensive as business intelligence is in general. But here we're talking about the ability to allow financial and business professionals to create, maintain, deploy, and view financial statements. There's a design reporter, which allows you to have more flexibility using the out-of-the-box report designer. And you can manage the generation and distribution of reports using financial report collaboration capabilities. So, again, reporting, AI, machine learning, predictive analytics, these are all things that are going to really help out small to medium-sized businesses navigate through different change. So, again, the focus approach to adaptive business operations, just to recap over here is we talk about the two pillars is business operations and technology modernization. I think maybe for next month, we'll get into the technology modernization and the infrastructure that supports all this. But I think from a business first approach, it was important to take a look at the business operations and how you can start to take advantage of all this automated finance and integrated global financial processes, and how you can start to take advantage of predictive analytics for intelligent recommendations, and how you can unify data and connected processes between your apps and your systems, and really adopt your business requirements in real time. So again, thank you so much for joining. Feel free to contact us. You can send us an email at info@envisionblockchain.com. You can go to our website at www.envisionblockchain.com, or feel free to give us a call at 1-800-513-8334. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next month. Take care.